Hey everyone, today I'm going to review the LG Gram 2021. This model is equipped with the Intel 11th Gen processor. Now my review will be from the perspective of a visual content creator, someone who does graphic design, digital art, edits photos and videos almost on a daily basis. Now this review is going to be a bit long, so if you want to save time, you can actually just check out the text review that I have already written. The link to the text review will be in the video description below. Before I start the review, this is actually a review unit provided by LG, so big thanks to them. Just to give you the bottom line up front, this laptop is fast, it's quiet, it's surprisingly light, has pretty good battery life, the display looks beautiful and has pretty good color accuracy. I measured 100% sRGB and 89% Adobe RGB, which is to say that this display is great for digital art, editing photos and videos. The downside, the display is a bit reflective and the keyboard layout takes some time to get used to. But overall, when it comes to performance, you can actually throw all types of work at the laptop and it will be able to perform smoothly except for work that requires the use of a dedicated graphics card, which is to say that this laptop is not good for gaming. Anyway, I'm currently in the market to get a new Windows laptop and I bought myself one LG Gram as well. This is the LG Gram 16 that I paid for with my own money, and this is the review unit from LG. The only things included in the box are the laptop and the charger, and this is quite a compact charger that comes with a USB-C connector. Battery capacity for the 14-inch model is 72 watt-hour. For the 15, 16 and 17-inch models, it's 80 watt-hour, and this 65 watt charger can charge the laptop fully in under 2 hours. The battery life for the laptop pretty good. For the 17-inch, I was able to get up to 12 hours when playing YouTube videos at 50%. For the 16-inch, I was able to get up to 14 hours, same thing, playing YouTube videos at 50%. Now, the other day I was doing some teleconferencing for the whole day and I was only able to get 7 hours out of this. So depending on the type of work you do, you are going to be getting 7 to 12 hours with the 17-inch, and for this you are probably going to get 8 to 14 hours, depending again on the work you do. My first impression when I took this out of the box was this is surprisingly light for a 17-inch laptop. This is just slightly heavier compared to the cardboard box that this was shipped in. So the weight of this 17-inch laptop is 1.35 kg. The 16-inch model is 1.19, 15-inch is 1.13, and the 14-inch model is 999 grams. Design of this laptop is very clean and simple. The material they are using here is some magnesium alloy. The matte texture is really nice, but this is very prone to fingerprint smudges. I'm not sure if you can get inside the laptop to upgrade the parts. Anyway, on the back there are 5 rubber feet and these are huge. I like how big they are and they provide excellent grip on the table. The speakers are located here. They are downward firing, 2 watts each. Audio quality is not as crisp or as detailed as I prefer. The volume is loud though. Having said that, the audio quality is actually quite decent and reasonable. So when I first increased the volume, I wasn't sure where the sound was coming from. It feels like the sound was coming from the left, the right, the top and the bottom. So I actually had to look around to find out where the speakers are because it feels like the speaker is in front, but I don't see any speaker grills. Now the thing with most downward facing speakers is it's like someone is talking to you but they are not looking at you. But in this case, I don't get that feeling with the audio from this laptop. And when it comes to choosing laptops, I prefer front-facing speakers, and if there are no front-facing speakers, I would not buy that laptop. So I actually made an exception for this because the audio quality I'm quite satisfied with the audio quality, even though it's not as good compared to other front-facing speakers. This laptop is quite thin as well. It's 1.78 centimeters at the thickest portion. The build quality of this magnesium alloy feels like plastic. In fact, when I first held this in hand, run my hand across the surface, it really feels like plastic. There is some flex to it, and here you can see some flex as well. There is flex to the keyboard as well. This laptop has some flex throughout all the parts, but it's not like it's flimsy or anything. It's just that this material feels like plastic and has characteristics of plastic. The keyboard comes with a number pad, and this number pad is available on the 15, 16 and 17-inch models. The keys here are a bit squashed compared to the main keyboard, but I have no problems hitting the correct buttons here. Now this number pad is too close to the main keyboard. When I need to press the backspace button, I find myself pressing the number lock on numerous occasions, and that's quite irritating. Page up and down buttons are here. You can also use the function keys with the number pad for the page up and down functions here. The power button has an integrated fingerprint sensor. The fingerprint sensor unlock is almost instant. Layout for the number pad on the LG Gram 16 is different from the 17. So the plus, minus, multiply, divide buttons are here. Number lock button is here. So in this case, when I press the backspace button, I will press the minus button by mistake. And the insert button, instead of a double button, it's now a single button. The page up and page down functions are assigned to the arrow keys here, which is nice, which is what I prefer. It's definitely going to take some time to get used to the layout, where the keys are and the position of this trackpad. Now this trackpad is nice, it's smooth, it has the right amount of click, and it supports finger gestures as well. But the location of this trackpad is in the middle, and this keyboard is actually on the left side. So when it comes to typing, sometimes I may accidentally touch the trackpad here. So the workaround, of course, is to lift your right hand, or you can turn off the trackpad completely and use a mouse instead. And also when I'm typing, I feel like the bottom left corner is digging into my wrist, but this is not a sharp corner, so it's not a big issue. The spacebar is here, and the trackpad is even further to the right. Trackpad location on the LG Gram 16 is slightly better. Here you can see the left edge of the spacebar is aligned to the left edge of the trackpad, and this is not in the middle, but it's not too far to the right side. Even on the 15-inch, for some reason, the trackpad is actually on the right side. Not sure why. The ports on the left are full-size HDMI, 2 Thunderbolt 4 and USB 4. This is 3.5mm audio jack. You can charge the laptop using either ports. Ports on the right side, micro SD card slot, to USB 3.2 Type A Kensington lock. This display looks beautiful. The colors look great out of the box. The bezels are thin, slightly thicker at the top and bottom. The webcam is only 720p, but the quality is actually pretty good, as in the image quality is sharp and detailed. Now this display is an IPS panel, so the viewing angles are pretty good. The colors don't shift much when you view the display from angles like this, but the downside is this display is very glossy, so if you have reflections on it, it's very difficult to see what's on the display. And even when there are no reflections on it, sometimes you can see reflections as well. That would be the only downside to this display, but otherwise I actually like this display. I like the 16:10 aspect ratio. So when your display is small, it's always good to have an aspect ratio that gives you more vertical height. And the resolution here is 2560 by 1600, which is a really nice resolution for a 17-inch display. This resolution is also available on the 15 and 16 inch. For the 14 inch, they use 1080p. Now, for graphic design work, I would highly recommend, if you have the budget, go for the model with 2560 by 1600 because it's going to make everything like the visuals here look much sharper. You can still see some pixelation on the LG Gram, however on the 1080p display, pixelation is more noticeable. This is not a touch screen, which is not a downside, at least for me, because I don't like to wipe the display. The color accuracy for this display is actually quite good. So with a Spider 5 Pro color calibrator, I measured color support for 100% sRGB, 87% NTSC, 89% ODB-RGB, and 100% P3, and a maximum brightness of 301 nits. So the colors on this pretty good. Let's talk about the performance. So this unit comes with this specification. So this has the Intel 11th gen processor, the i7-1165G7, which is a quad-core 2.8 GHz processor. This has 16 gigs of RAM. This model has 512 gigs of storage. Some of the LG software and some of the bloatware, you cannot uninstall them. There is Wi-Fi 6, so you can expect really fast internet speed. My speed here is actually limited by my internet plan, which is 300 Mbps, but if you have a faster plan, this can be several times faster. Overall performance of this laptop is fast and smooth. By the way, see my reflection there. This display is just a bit too reflective. LG really needs to apply some anti-reflective coating on this. So boot up is fast. When it comes to launching apps, it's pretty quick as well. Let me launch Photoshop. Photoshop is going to take a bit longer to launch compared to Affinity Photo. This is actually not too bad. It's quite fast. So let's open up a big file, maybe a 1 GB file. So let's open this TIFF file. When it comes to opening a 1 GB file, it takes this amount of time. And let's zoom in and out to see whether or not there is any lag when it comes to zooming. It's pretty smooth. Liquify is quite responsive. Saving this huge file takes as much time as opening it up, so it's fast. These are the read and write speeds for the internal NVMe storage. Let's open Adobe Lightroom and import some photos. I'm going to import 116 megapixel raw photos. So these are the photos. Let's import. It's importing, so the thumbnails reflect quite quickly. I am not able to scroll yet. Okay, now I can scroll. It's pretty quick. Let's go in and take a look. Okay, one thing I like about this display is 2560 by 1600. It gives you significantly more resolution compared to 1080p resolution. So when it comes to editing photographs, you can actually see like more details, and also the user interface elements like the menu bars, the fonts, the icons on the desktops, all these icons, they are all going to look much sharper, with no noticeable pixelation from one arm's length working distance away, so that's really good. So when it comes to editing photos, it's pretty satisfying when using such a large display, this 17-inch display. For the past 2 weeks that I've been using this, I have not experienced any lag, even though I have so many applications open, so that's pretty good. So if you multitask a lot, so for example, when it comes to creating my work, I would actually take some photos, and when I'm editing my photos, either for my blog or to create YouTube thumbnails, I would usually have a video exporting in the background. I may do some research using the web browser to find information on this laptop, for example, to write my text review. I can multitask and switch between the apps and edit my stuff without any lag, so the overall workflow is pretty smooth. So when it comes to doing graphic design work, this laptop is definitely more than powerful enough to handle page design, graphic design, digital art, illustration, basically all the 2D stuff. This laptop will have no problems handling all those with ease. This laptop is able to drive a 4K external display at 60Hz very smoothly, and this is one of the main reasons why I decided to upgrade from my very old MacBook Pro from 2015. This can only drive 4K at 30Hz. It's not a fair comparison. I mean, this is so new, this is so old. But even with my Mac Mini from 2018, it wasn't able to drive 4K that smoothly. It can run at 60Hz, but when it comes to moving the windows around, you can feel like it's stuttering. So here it's actually really smooth and very responsive. The 11th Gen i7 processor in this laptop is quite capable when it comes to editing and exporting videos as well. So for example, when it comes to exporting a 4K video using H.265, this video, by the way, doesn't have any special effects or anything, it's just clips joined together. So when it comes to exporting a simple video like this, the amount of time it takes is about 55% of the length of the video. So for example, with a 5-minute video like this, it takes around 2 minutes and 40 seconds to export. That, in my opinion, is pretty quick. By the way, take a look at the reflection again. This is very reflective, and the reflection is more obvious when you have a black or darker user interface in the background. Sometimes it's a bit distracting. Even when exporting videos, the fans are barely audible. I can hear the fans when I am actually listening for them, but they are very quiet. The exhaust is actually here. The fan exhaust would come out here onto the display. I do YouTube live streaming occasionally, and live streaming on YouTube takes up a lot of processing power. With my older computer, the MacBook Pro 2015 or the Mac Mini 2018, the fans would usually spin up and it's very noisy. But with live streaming on the LG Gram, again, I can barely hear the fans, which is very helpful because when I'm live streaming, I cannot have the fans be that noisy. I need a quiet environment. Alright, to conclude, the LG Gram 2021 is a very capable laptop with a display that is reasonably color accurate. So this is something I can recommend easily to visual content creators. And this is really portable, like it's unreal how light this is. Even though I've used this for 2 weeks, it still really feels unreal when I hold this. This 17-inch model is just slightly heavier compared to the Apple 13-inch MacBook Air, and this 16-inch model is lighter compared to the MacBook Air. It's not without its downsides. I don't like how glossy the display is, so LG really has to apply some anti-reflective coating on this. And also the keyboard layout really takes some time to get used to. If you want a good keyboard layout, definitely go with the 16-inch where the trackpad is closer to the bottom of the space bar, and 16-inch is a pretty good size as well. I do recommend you get the model with 2560 by 1600 resolution, so don't get the 14-inch Full HD display model, and definitely get at least 16 gigs of RAM when it comes to creating visual content. Another downside is, well, I shouldn't say this is a downside because you are not really buying a laptop like this for gaming. So the downside is there is no discrete graphics card, which means This is not for gaming. I actually tried gaming on this. I tried running GTA 5 and I was only able to get like 20 to 25 frames per second. So the action scenes, they're not smooth. So I don't recommend gaming on this, and this is not a laptop for gaming. But for visual content creation, for digital art, graphic design, editing photos and videos, absolutely no issues with this. This is definitely very powerful. Just that if you have to work with this outdoors and you have no control as to where the light source is coming from, the reflections can get quite annoying. So this is meant to be used indoors most of the time. So this is a pretty good laptop, with the only limitation being there is no graphics card, but you already know that from the product page. I actually bought this secondhand, so I got a pretty good deal for this. Even if you are going to buy this at the official retail price, I still think it's kind of worth the money for the overall experience. I mean, how many 16-inch laptops out there can you hold with 2 fingers like this? Now, the overall build quality, there is flex, yes, but it's not like this material is soft like cardboard. If you don't go and bend your laptop, it's not going to bend. This is my review of the LG Gram 2021. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. I hope this review is helpful. See you again.